Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news takes you right to this scene. Traffic lights down, a crash in Raleigh causing problems at a major intersection. This is a live picture of that scene around Blue Ridge Road near Western Boulevard. How this could affect your morning commute and your trip to the State Fair.
Weather shouldn't be a problem at the State Fair. It's gorgeous out there this morning. Skies are clear, but one of the coolest mornings we've seen so far this season. I'll show you what it'll feel like as you head out the door.
And speaking of the State Fair, it's the first full day. A look ahead at today's events and what you need to know about how long you'll wait to get in and out of the parking lot. Good morning, everybody. It's 4:30. Great to have you up with us. We'll help you get your day started in every which way you know how. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Weather Center. First of all, tracking your forecast.
Look at this, 42 degrees right now, and temperatures may drop even farther as we get closer to sunrise. So definitely the coldest morning that we've seen so far this fall. The last time we saw low 40s was way back in April. It's a beautiful start out there in our Garner Tower. We're picking up the moon there, clear skies. Our dew point's also 42, so it's very dry out there, but feeling fantastic. I came in my puffy coat this morning. It is 37 right now in Roxborough, 42 Rocky Mount, 43 in Southern Pines, 46 in Fayetteville. So again, these temperatures are noticeably cooler than yesterday, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees cooler. That's a big drop. So chilly this morning if you're going to be out walking the dog or out for your morning run. You're going to notice the difference from yesterday. At lunchtime, only 63, and our highs stay in the upper 60s for this afternoon. I'll show you why tomorrow and Sunday should be a good bit warmer. We'll also track our chances for rain Sunday coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. Let's get back to that breaking news now. Raleigh police are trying to learn more after a person walked into Wake Med this morning with a gunshot wound. Police say officers responded to shots fired on Thelma Street near New Bern Avenue. This is a scene courtesy of the WRAL breaking news tracker. Evidence markers show shell casings in the road. We're working to learn if the victim at the hospital was shot at that scene. Well, this morning, traffic lights are down at the intersection of Western Boulevard at Blue Ridge Road here in Raleigh. Let's get to WRAL's Ali Cadlebar and the WRAL breaking news tracker. And Ali, this all started with an SUV crashing into a utility pole.
And within the past 5 minutes, Ken, crews just showed up to start repairing these traffic lights that are down. You can see them dangling. You can see this person right now taking a U-turn because this intersection is closed. You can also see those lights dangling, some even lying on the ground. Again, this all started with a crash. An SUV crashed into a utility pole. Take a look at this video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. This all happened at 1:30. We saw an SUV wedged into those trees there. They pulled down all of those traffic lights as well. Now that SUV, we did also see it get pulled out of that wooded area, and you can see how badly damaged that front part of it is. We also know from Raleigh police that no one was seriously injured. The cause of the crash under investigation, but the stretch on Western Boulevard between Blue Ridge Road and Du Bois Street, it is closed. Within the past hour, we've seen about 5 people try to run through this intersection, and luckily crews are out here. It looks like they're starting to make those repairs. We're going to keep you updated throughout the morning. They're trying to repair this before rush hour. Ken, reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Cadlebar, WRAL News.
Of course, also before the State Fair begins at 9 o'clock this morning. Let's move on now. Today, the man accused in a shooting in Chapel Hill is expected in court. The shooting happened after 6 p.m. last night near the intersection of Franklin Street and Graham Street. The police chief says it started as a fight between 2 people. One person was shot in the foot. Chief Calissa LaHue says it didn't take long to get the suspect in custody.
We're really fortunate that we have a downtown police unit that patrols Franklin Street 24/7 and are assigned to this area, and that they could immediately respond and make that arrest.
Police say 74-year-old Gary Council is in custody. He is facing charges including attempted murder. Republicans in North Carolina have proposed a new congressional map that would impact the state's only swing seat. This is what the current maps look like right here behind me, with 4 Democratic-leaning districts and 10 Republican-leaning ones. And this is the newly proposed map with 11 Republican districts and only 3 Democratic ones. The map is not official yet, but if it is approved, the effect could be consequential. The Republicans' target is Democratic Representative Don Davis, who represents the northeastern corner of our state. Well, Davis issued a statement in response to the proposal. He said, quote, "As we look at new congressional districts, I am considering every option, drawing on my local roots, experience in the military, and commitment to education." Well, former Republican State Supreme Court Justice Bob Orr has been a vocal opponent of the way the GOP has redrawn the district maps for years. We spoke with him last night. He says this is just more of the same.
I think there's a fundamental question that people need to be talking about, and that is if government is manipulating the voter pool so as to create a winnable district for the party in favor, is that a fair election? And does that in any way violate the rights of the citizens of this state to fair elections?
Orr said he believes the courts will next need to address a fair elections claim at the appellate level dealing with a specific individual district. Another round of nationwide protests is set for tomorrow. Several of those protests will be right here in our area. Back in June, more than 5 million people across the country were part of the No Kings demonstrations. This Saturday, another 1,300 protests are planned. The group says this will be a nonviolent day of action to, quote, defend democratic norms and reject authoritarianism. Around 15 demonstrations are planned in our area. A full list can be found on our website, WRAL.com. There's so much State Fair fun to be had starting today. It's the first full day of this fall classic, and all of that excitement comes alongside a concert next door at the Lenovo Center tonight. Let's bring in WRAL's Monica Casey. She's back at the State Fairgrounds this morning. And Monica, we're expecting tens of thousands more people to go through the gates of the State Fair today.
Yeah, a lot of excitement here today, but a lot of eyes also on the roads around the North Carolina State Fairgrounds after some issues with traffic earlier this week. Now, tonight will be day 2 of a Billie Eilish concert over at the Lenovo Center, and that could impact traffic. Luckily, yesterday there were no major issues, which was some good news after people did have problems on Tuesday getting to the Chris Brown concert over at Carter Finley. Now, when it comes to the fair itself, the director tells us they can handle huge numbers of people here because this event has turnover throughout the day, unlike, say, a concert when everyone is trying to get there at the same time. Fair officials say this will be a better experience for you if you plan ahead, and weekdays are usually a little less busy than weekends. Live in Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Well, this weekend, families can enjoy Accessibility Day at the State Fair from 10 o'clock in the morning until 1 in the afternoon on Sunday. Lights and music will be turned off on rides and booths. Music stages will only play acoustic sets. This will provide a low-sensory environment for anyone who may have trouble with a typical day at the State Fair. And in the next 10 minutes, we'll show you more of the sights and sounds from opening day. Moving on now, a person is dead after a fiery crash in Cumberland County. Troopers say a car was traveling at a high rate of speed on Seabrook School Road last night. Officers say the driver ran a stop sign, crossed Macedonia Church Road, and hit a tree. The car burst into flames. The driver was the only one in the car. Troopers have not released that person's name as yet. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is visiting President Trump at the White House today. He's expected to ask for air defense systems and Tomahawk missiles. Those have a long enough range for Ukraine to strike Moscow. Trump is floating the idea of providing them. He also says he plans to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Hungary to discuss bringing the war to an end. Well, it appears the government shutdown will continue into next week. This is a live look at the U.S. Capitol, where yesterday a divided U.S. Senate failed to advance the Republican-led stopgap funding bill after a 10th vote. A majority of Democrats are refusing to vote for the bill unless better health care funding is assured. Senators are set to leave town with no votes planned today or over the weekend. The U.S. House is still out of session. This shutdown is the third longest in history. Time now, 4:39. Solar Showdown. North Carolina joins a growing legal fight over millions in canceled clean energy funds, while state leaders say the EPA went too far and what's at stake for local families. Silent threats. Superbugs are spreading, and North Carolina is not immune. The warning from health experts about what's fueling the surge. I'm going to take you outside now and give you one more look at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds. That's the midway you're looking at, a very quiet midway. Gates opened this morning at 9 o'clock. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tells us about the possible rain that could affect your State Fair plans over the weekend.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:43, nice and clear out there for us this morning. So we have the top of the tower right here in the backyard lit in blue for clear skies, and we're going to end up just with a beautiful day. But the biggest thing about our weather today is this is the coolest air that we've seen so far this season. So 42 in Holly Springs and in Durham, it's 37 in Roxborough, 45 in Gardner and in Cary. And because we have clear skies and light winds, we may see those temperatures dropping a little bit more. Some other places may dip into the upper 30s for the first time this fall. So we've had temperatures like this, but not recently. Way back in April was the last time it was this chilly. So when you're heading out to walk the dog, I would highly recommend grabbing a bigger coat than you did yesterday. Our temperatures are 10 to 15 degrees cooler. It'll be a nice afternoon, but sweater weather with highs in the upper 60s. Coming up, we're going to talk more about some rain late Sunday.
North Carolina joining a nationwide lawsuit against the EPA over $150 million in canceled solar funds. Attorney General Jeff Jackson saying the money was supposed to help low-income and rural families install rooftop solar panels. The EPA blames Congress for pulling the plug. State officials say those funds were already obligated and the EPA overstepped its authority. The Solar for All grants were part of the Inflation Reduction Act. Attorney General Jackson says the lawsuit aims to bring that money back to North Carolina households. Covering Wake County, the developer of a proposed data center is addressing the community's concerns. The facility will be built on a nearly 200-acre site on Sharon Harris Road near Apex. It's not far from Duke Energy's Harris Power Plant. Some people are pushing back on the center. They're worried about the potential for energy and water consumption and noise and air pollution. The developer says his company is working on all of those concerns.
We're going to have a lot of different methods that we can attenuate for it if we need to, in order to ensure that it's not disrupting the neighbors.
What's being done to limit water use?
There isn't any capacity concerns that have been expressed to us about their ability to take reclaimed water from their plant and running it to our site.
Natali also says the site will meet and exceed any lighting requirements from the town. He says backup generators will be permitted through the EPA. The World Health Organization is warning about superbugs. They are bacteria that don't respond to standard antibiotics and make simple infections more difficult to treat. They're estimated to cause 35,000 deaths every year. It's believed this rise of these superbugs is caused by overuse of antibiotics in situations where they're not needed. Dr. Thomas Holland from Duke Health says includes giving them to someone who has the flu, which is a viral infection.
The bacteria and the fungi and different germs are evolving. They're always evolving. This is how the world is. And we need to have a pipeline of treatments to, to handle those. That hasn't kept up. That's one issue. Another issue is surveillance. We need to be able to just know what's out there.
Dr. Holland says our warming climate also is likely contributing to the rise in infections. That makes North Carolina a more favorable home for these bacteria. We'll have our team members at the State Fair there this weekend and this week as well, ready to meet you. Dan Haggerty and Ashley Rowe were there for opening day. They kicked things off, and Ashley took a ride on one of the big slides.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Woo! This is crazy. That was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be.
There's a little kid in all of us at the State Fair. Afterward, we asked the fair director what makes the fair so special.
There's no time like fair time, and that means different things to different people. So whatever your favorite part of the fair is, you only can experience that in October, so come on out and experience it.
It is a fall classic and a tradition. Come see us at the State Fair. Today, WRAL's Chris Lovingood and meteorologist Grant Skinner will be there starting at 10:30 this morning. They'll be there for an hour until 11:30. And Gerald Owens will be there from 2 o'clock this afternoon until 3 p.m. Well, speaking of the state fair, let's get back over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. And heading out today, you might need a jacket.
That's the big story this morning is the chilly temperatures. We're 10 to 15 degrees cooler than yesterday. So that does bring us into the upper 30s and low 40s. So chilly out there, but looking gorgeous. Our skies are clear. Another look at the state fair here. We'll also take a look at the Garner Tower. Moon is hanging right up there. It's this pretty little crescent moon. Our temperature 42 degrees and the dew point is 42. And that's significant in so many ways. That's the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, and 42 is very low, so it means we're not going to feel at all humid today. It's also the point at which the air is saturated, and so at 42, this is a very dry dew point. We're not likely to end up with any fog, but if that number was a little higher, with our temperature and the dew point being the same, we might have some fog. Also, our temperature can't fall below that, so we're going to be stuck at 42 at RDU unless we end up seeing our dew point dropping a little bit, and we would have to have some drier air moving in. So probably going to keep it right about there. It's possible that we would see some temperatures falling a little farther. We're at 40 in Goldsboro, still 37 in Roxborough. So definitely looking at upper 30s to low 40s, depending on where you are. 45 Apex and Knightdale's, 41 in Durham, and 42 in Wake Forest. So much cooler than it was this time yesterday. Our normal low is 50. So we're actually pretty close to that tomorrow at 48, and then 55 Sunday, 52 Monday. It's just going to stay cool. You know, we're starting to settle into, mid and late October, and we haven't had any frost and freeze issues here yet, but you can see here just to the north, up around West Virginia, and then on up toward the Great Lakes, we have frost and freeze warnings and advisories. Upper 60s in Raleigh and Durham, 71 in Fayetteville this afternoon. Football Friday, grab your favorite hoodie and head out to the game. Mid 60s at start time, and temperatures will drop into the 50s pretty quickly. We're going to see 69 for today, and then 77 Saturday, 78 Sunday. We're still looking at that chance for some rain on Sunday. It's likely to be late in the day and overnight, but coming up in just a few minutes, we'll walk you through that hour by hour so you can plan your trip to the fair or wherever.
Oh, wherever, that's true. Thanks, Elizabeth. Hollywood Honors, a blockbuster, gets major recognition and the latest buzz from the big screen. Also, a rock legend remembered. Tributes are pouring in for KISS guitarist Ace Frehley. Our fans and fellow bandmates are honoring the music icon's lasting legacy. Welcome back. We're just a few minutes before 5 this morning. Some sad news from the music world. Legendary KISS guitarist and vocalist Ace Frehley has died. Frehley co-founded the rock band KISS back in 1973. He's considered one of the greatest metal guitarists of all time. Fellow bandmates Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley writing a joint statement saying Frehley was an essential and irreplaceable rock soldier and will always be part of the KISS legacy. Frehley's cause of death has not been released. He was 74 years old. Movie news now, including an honor for one of the year's biggest hits. Here's Douglas Hyde with today's Hollywood Minute.
Love you, brother. Be careful. I will.
Sinners was a huge hit with audiences and critics alike. And now it's set to get some love in the upcoming awards season. The Gotham Awards will honor the cast with an ensemble tribute at the ceremony in December. The event's organizers cited Michael B. Jordan's magnificent dual roles in the film and said the entire cast created one of the great cinematic experiences of the year.
She's entering the pumpkin contest, wanted a few tips.
This ain't some grow-your-own-salad school project. This is all-out vegetable warfare.
Looking for a non-scary, family-friendly Halloween film this month? Grow might fit the bill. The comedy is kicking off its week-long run in theaters and centers on a wild and wacky pumpkin growing competition. It's been described as a Halloween movie with a Christmas vibe.
It's about the power of the glow.
It's time to bask again in the glow of The Last Dragon. The 80s Kung Fu classic is celebrating its 40th anniversary with a return to the big screen. It's back in theaters next week for a limited run, with the same mix of music and martial arts that's made it a cult favorite over the decades. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Well, there's progress renovating a park in Wake County. These are pictures from the Blue Jay Point Park. It's one of several parks getting upgrades thanks to the 2018 bond. Crews start preparing the pond and garden for construction. Work included building a 500-gallon temporary pond for all the animals that live there. The animals and plants will be moved to the temporary site all week long. Other improvements include more parking and enhanced playgrounds. The Wayne County Boys and Girls Club benefiting from a $1 million grant being given to clubs all across the country. The main focus of the grant is for high school students to explore careers in healthcare. Wayne County is the only club in North Carolina to receive some of that grant money. Just in time for Halloween, a lobster in costume. This rare crustacean was caught in a trap, but now lives at Northeastern University's Marine Science Center. Her name is Jack-o'-lantern, or Jackie for short. A lobsterman donated her to the Science Center, and now school kids will get to learn more about her. She's 1 in 30 million. Her coloring is a result of an unusual mixture of chemical compounds. Experts say this could be a genetic trait, and researchers at Northwestern hope to look into that a little bit further. Eagle Pride returns. North Carolina Central kicks off homecoming week, the first since last year's shooting, how the campus is moving forward. Also, WRAL uncovering new information about a UNC football official's trip to Saudi Arabia, where the visit is raising eyebrows and what the university is saying about it. From pies to pastries, the best home chefs are heating things up at the North Carolina State Fair. See which delicious dishes made the finals and took home the blue ribbons.